Hello everyone, and welcome to Starbolt Talks, where I ask, talk, and ramble on about whatever comes to mind. So this is something that has been on my mind for a bit, and the question here is Luna Child from Touhou Project British or French? I'm just gonna say the real answer right off the bat. Probably neither, given that she's a fairy and she probably just popped into existence at some point, and she just exists as she is. But that's not exactly what I'm asking. The only reason why I phrase the question as is because it's a smaller title than what I'm really asking. So there's a few things I'm going to explain before I actually start talking about Luna herself. So most Touhou characters have non-English names, except for those who don't, such as Remilia. I'm pretty sure that would count as an English name. With that in mind, let's bring up the Three Fairies of Light, who all have English-sounding names. With that in mind, my point being that Touhou characters are capable of having English names. It's not like it's a direct translation of their names. So, yeah. And actually, now I think about it, most of the fairies that we see have English names. Eternity, Clownpiece, the three funnies, excluding Cerno. And I'm not counting Dayuzi because it's not actually her name, but I'm not sure if this implies that I'm not sure what this implies, to be honest. I'm not sure why they all have English names despite being in a Japanese setting. So, or just a non-Western setting, I guess. So that's interesting. So, the reason why this is significant is it implies that Jinsokyo isn't as lacking in diversity relative to one may expect without knowing. So, yeah. I mean, if you knew of the mythology and of the mythology stories and stuff that goes into Touhou, it'd be relatively easy to notice that it's not just isolated to just that side of stuff. So therefore, it is possible that the fairies, at least Three Fairies of Light, to physically look different from the overall population, or it's at least possible for them to manifest resembling that part of the population. So I'm not exactly sure how fairy manifestation works. I'm not exactly a fairy scientist. Is that a thing? I don't exactly know a lot about actual fairies and actual mythology either. I just know one possible origin. But basically what I'm saying here is that since they have English names, and since there's a part of the population that at least looks probably non-Asian, I'm just going to say, it is possible for the fairies to at least look that way. I mean, they have inherent English, so that's kind of an odd detail that I'm not sure if anyone really thought about. But yeah, basically it's possible that they may look different from the majority of the population, maybe. Assuming that the majority of the population is Asian. I don't want to sound offensive. I'm just saying kind of what my current understanding of Jinsokyo is, so feel free to call me out in the comments. I just always thought that Jinsokyo was mostly, since it's a kind of ancient Japanese setting, it would make sense for a majority of them to be that way. Although there is the occasional stranger who enters, so there's that. So the whole point of this segment was for me to say that it's not absurd to assume that Luna would be different. So yeah. Now to the next point. So if Touhou Project were to ever be adapted into an anime, I doubt accents will be integrated into it, like in the literal Japanese dub, I'm gonna say. But in English dub, here's where the real question comes in. So what accent would Luna have? So this is my real question. What accent would Luna hypothetically have in a dub setting? Now I know not all dubs have accents. I know that earlier JoJo had accents, but they kind of got rid of that, and then people were sad, even though they were kind of making fun of that before. I'm not sure if, in a good or bad way, but, dub is a very weird thing in anime, given its history and its current standing, but that's a topic for another video. So why would I ask such a question? I mean, why not? I mean, I have a Star Sapphire profile picture, and no one talks about the Three Fairies of Light that much, so I might as well just make a video about them too. So, back to the subject. So yeah, dubs had accents. I am reading from a script if you couldn't tell already. And yeah, my question being that if Luna were to be dubbed, would her accent, if accents were involved, would it be British or French? And believe it or not, I actually done some research on this. It took me like an hour because I was doing other stuff at the same time. So, the name Luna apparently has Roman origins, with there being a god of the same name, and it also has Latin roots apparently, which, yeah, okay, makes sense. Which connects to Spanish, and I already know that Spanish is close to French because there's something I noticed that when I was being taught to speak French, a lot of a lot of people who spoke Spanish around me were pretty much telling me that it was easier to learn than English. Apparently, most Spanish speakers have an easier time learning French, and I am not one of them. So, here's my proof for why Luna may be French. And yeah, that's basically it. Her name has French origins, well, probably French origins, and yeah. Also, she has croissant for hair, so that is something. Now, for the reason why she may be British. Well, reading her earliest appearances in Eastern and Little Nature Deity, I don't know, to me she just comes off as British. And yeah, that's pretty much my only reason. I mean, there's a whole thing about the French originating from the English, I think, if I remember history correctly. But that was a long time ago, and I suck at history, and that's already getting way too complicated for a fat moon baby that may have just popped into existence, so that kind of stuff doesn't really matter. But I guess my main argument here is just read Eastern Little Nature Deity. Maybe you'll see her as British, maybe not. So this trait isn't as pronounced in the later mangas, but is very much tangible in her earliest appearances. So yeah, Visionary, Oriental, and Strange and Bright, those ones, I want to say she's a lot more neutral there. That aspect of hers isn't as pronounced. So yeah. And I couldn't really find that much information about her hair. Going back to her croissant hair. I know that's based on the Lolita style, but that had to come from something else too, because I was trying to find I was mainly looking for the general origin of the curls, and the wiki page for that hair itself was pretty empty, and I didn't feel like going through everything just to see whether the French did that kind of hair first or not. And yeah, that's all I have for the argument of Luna maybe being British, or having a British accent. So with all that explanation and information, what do you think? Would Luna sound British, or would she sound French? I don't know how to do a French accent. Or neither. What accent do you think she'd have? Also about the other two, now that I'm just talking about this, Sunny would definitely be Irish, I think. And to be honest, reading some of her reading the manga with Sunny with that accent would probably make the manga a lot more entertaining. And as for Star Sapphire, I have no idea. Canadian, maybe? I mean, she uses a cheerful and nice exterior to cause trouble and get away with it, so I'm not sure if that correlates. And yeah, I don't know. That's probably a video for another day, if I feel like doing research on that or dissecting her even further. So just feel free to comment your opinion on what accent you think Luna or the others would have. I like to think that Cirno would be Italian because of how her name is pronounced, Cirno. Yeah, because in Spanish, I'm not sure about Italian. I'm pretty sure it's also in Italian where two C's make a ch sound, and it wouldn't be I don't think it would be grammatically correct to put it in the beginning, but Italian Cirno, I don't know. That's funny to me. And yeah, so make sure to like, sub, bell, you know the drill. And yeah, I'll see you in the future.